If the Industrial Revolution changed how people worked, the digital revolution changed what it meant to be human. In just a few decades, we've gone from handwritten letters to instant messages, from dusty libraries to endless information in our pockets. The story of the digital age is not only about machines, it's about imagination, connection, and the power of human creativity. But our journey begins in the mid-20th century, when the world had just survived two devastating world wars. Scientists and engineers began to dream of machines that could think, calculate, and communicate faster than any human. One of the first breakthroughs came in the 1940s with the invention of the ENIAC, the world's first general-purpose computer. It filled an entire room, consumed massive amounts of power, and could perform calculations that once took weeks in seconds. The ENIAC sparked a technological revolution. Soon came the transistor, a tiny electronic switch invented in 1947. This small device replaced bulky vacuum tubes and allowed computers to become smaller, faster, and more reliable. It was a turning point, the moment technology began shrinking, even as its power grew. By the 1960s and 70s, computers started moving out of government labs and into businesses, universities, and eventually homes. The invention of the microchip, a whole computer circuit printed on a silicon wafer, made it possible to produce affordable personal computers. The Apple II, Commodore 64, and IBM PC brought computing power to ordinary people. The digital world was no longer just for scientists, it was for everyone. But the real explosion came with the Internet. Born from a US military project called ARPANET in the late 1960s, the Internet connected computers together so they could share information. What began as a small experiment among researchers became, by the 1990s, a global network that would transform everything: communication, business, education, and entertainment. When Tim Berners-Lee invented the World Wide Web in 1989, he gave this growing network a human face: websites, hyperlinks, and browsers that anyone could use. Suddenly, the world was connected. People could send emails across oceans, read news from foreign countries, and share their voices online. It was the beginning of a new age, the age of information. Then came the mobile revolution. In the early 2000s, mobile phones evolved into powerful computers that fit in our hands. With the release of the iPhone in 2007, technology became personal, portable, and constant. Apps, social media, and cloud computing turned the Internet into a living, breathing part of daily life. The way we learn, work, shop, and even think began to change. Behind the screens, another revolution was quietly forming: the rise of data and artificial intelligence. Every click, search, and message produced information that could be analyzed and understood. Machines began to learn patterns, recognize faces, translate languages, and even compose music. What was once science fiction, talking to computers, self-driving cars, virtual assistants, became real. But the digital revolution is not only about technology, it's about transformation. It changed economies, making global trade instant and accessible. It changed politics, as ideas and movements could spread with a single post. It changed culture, allowing people from different corners of the world to share art, music, and experiences in real time. The world became smaller, yet more connected than ever before. Of course, progress brought challenges. The same tools that unite us also divide us. Issues like privacy, misinformation, and digital addiction remind us that technology reflects humanity, both its light and shadow. The question is no longer can we connect, but how should we connect? Still, the promise of the digital age remains vast. It has given voices to the voiceless, knowledge to the curious, and opportunity to the creative. A teenager with a smartphone can now learn coding, launch a business, or share a story with millions. The digital world has broken down walls that once limited human potential. Think about this. In just one human lifetime, we went from sending letters that took weeks to arrive to live streaming from space. We've built virtual classrooms, digital libraries, and AI-powered doctors. We've digitized our history, and in doing so, we've become the creators of a new kind of civilization, one that exists both in the physical and digital worlds. The digital revolution teaches us something timeless, that progress is born from curiosity. Every click, every invention, every idea began with a question: what if? The same spirit that led early humans to carve symbols in stone now drives programmers to code the future. As we stand at the dawn of artificial intelligence, quantum computing, and virtual reality, we are not ending the story of civilization. We are writing its next chapter. The tools have changed, but the dream remains the same: to understand, to connect, and to create a better world. From the hum of the first computer to the glow of the modern smartphone, the digital revolution is the story of how humanity transformed not just its tools, but itself. We became the architects of a new reality, one made of data, dreams, and infinite possibilities. And as long as we continue to imagine, innovate, and inspire, the evolution of civilization will never stop.